my views on those videos were maybe like 100, 200 views. And at a point, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a creator, and you see those statistics, you're just like, man, I wish I could have done better, something better to make it even better. And it was so hard not to look at the statistics, and it kind of demoralizes you almost to a point. And you're like, well, should I keep going? Should I do something different? Blah blah blah. And I was just like, you know what? I have to put out 2 videos a week for an entire year. And if it really doesn't pan out to anything, then at least I can say I tried.
What's up, people? Welcome back to People That Travel, where I interview nomads that tell us how is it that they're currently traveling the world, how do they make their income, and most importantly, they show us that it's possible. It's not as hard as it seems to be. And today we have a fantastic, very anticipated interview with the one and only Aelx White. He's a travel YouTuber with over 83,000 subscribers. He's 28 years old, from America, but was born in the Ukraine and started traveling in 2017. I have been a loyal subscriber of Aelx's channel for over 6 months now, and I really admire the way that he films, edits, and most importantly, tells a story through his videos. So far, this has been one of my favorite interviews. We discuss how he started traveling, how he learned filmmaking and editing, the camera equipment that he uses when he travels, how he plans his videos, creates his thumbnails and title for YouTube, and how he managed to grow within 1 year to make YouTube his full-time income. Also, we touch on how he has obtained brand deals through his YouTube videos and his advice to people that want to travel or be an aspiring content creator on YouTube. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, bro.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Excellent, bro. So yeah, dude, I was doing some research about yourself, and I couldn't really find much information from before you started traveling. So can you give me a background on where are you from?
So most of the way when I start a vlog, or if I'm marketing a vlog, I say that I'm American, and that's because for most of my life I've lived in the United States, and I do have an American passport. But me and my mom actually grew up in Ukraine. So I was actually born there, and me and my mom immigrated to the United States when I was 6 years old. So since 6 years, yeah, like Russian is my first language, it's my native language, but English is actually my second language, believe it or not. So growing up, I kind of had to learn from scratch again, learning a brand new language and going to school and pretty much learning the culture in the United States. So basically, yeah, I went to high school, middle school, elementary school, and even college in the United States. And then basically how I got into traveling was around halfway through my college education. I started to pick up a camera. I wanted to do photography a bit here and there. And the market kind of got a little saturated. So I kind of switched over completely to video because I figured I could earn a little bit more money that way. And that seemed to be the case. And I never looked back, really. I started picking up clients, doing video work, anything from weddings to venues, just anything really that I could get my hands on to make money. And that was basically my side job at the time.
Right. How old are you now, right now?
I'm actually 28. I'll turn 29 this month.
Okay. And what age did you pick up the camera?
Man, I want to say like 19 or 20.
Okay. All right. Cool. So a long time.
It's been a while. It's been a while, yeah. But yeah, so ever since, I've been doing a lot of video work for clients, but never anything for myself really. But once I started making enough money, I started traveling for clients, for myself, and but that was mostly around the United States. It wasn't really international. And my first international experience was around the age of like 21 when I went to Bali, Indonesia for the very first time, and that was like my first real solo trip by myself. And ever since I came back from that trip, I was just like, how do I move there?
Right. Yeah, no, I don't blame you, bro. I come from similar background. I'm from Colombia, but at age 5, my parents moved to the States as well. And I don't have American passport. I got deported back to Colombia. So you're very lucky to have American passport, bro.
Yeah, totally grateful. Except they kind of went obsolete during 2021, where nobody was accepting Americans. You know.
And also, actually, what I do find grateful that I'm not American is tax wise. I don't have to worry about taxes because I'm sure I don't know if American passport you have to worry about taxes.
There's a fine line with taxes, especially when you're traveling full time. But yeah, taxes is always an issue.
Right, right. Okay, so but you didn't start vlogging when you first went to Indonesia, right? You traveled for a bit because I looked at your Instagram and there's a lot of pictures, but there's no video content on that.
Yeah, so when I my first trip to Indonesia back in I think it was 2017 around that time frame, I actually had a vlog camera set up. I had the very first original Sony A7S with a huge like 6-inch monitor on top just so I could see myself. And it was the most heaviest thing ever. I was looking around. I looked like I was filming a documentary in Indonesia. It was ridiculous. And I kind of gave up because it was just so tedious, so heavy, and a pain, and it wasn't really functional, really traveling around with that huge thing and trying to enjoy Indonesia at the same time. So I kind of gave up on that until I moved back to the United States and got a full-time job creating, actually, believe it or not, YouTube vlogs for another client. And yeah, and that's how I got into the whole YouTube space, learning that. And after about a year of that, I said, you know what, I want to do this for myself. And that's where I went to Vietnam.
Okay, amazing. So that was one of my questions. How did you learn videography? So I'm guessing it's all just trial and error. Did you go to school? Did you go to university to study film or not at all?
I went to college from 2011 to 2018. And during that time, I was actually learning health science. I wasn't learning anything about photography, about video, because about halfway through my college education is when I kind of picked up photography and videography. And at that point, I was just like, I can't stop now. I have to finish my degree. And so video kind of became my side thing. And eventually, as I saw it, I could make more money with that. I just continued it as my full-time thing. And yeah, here I am.
Great, bro. That's great. And now, who do you look up to as a creator? Who do you like to watch?
Right now, my YouTube page consists of a lot of different people. The main people I've really started to watch a lot is Harold Balder and Balder Bankrupt. Those two guys are just some of the most opposite videos you will see of mine. Like you'll watch my channel and then you'll go watch their videos, complete opposite. They'll point the camera at themselves for an hour straight and just continue rolling the video, and it will be the most interesting thing you will ever watch on YouTube. It's crazy. So they do no fancy edits, no fancy cuts. They just keep it rolling and make an amazing story out of it. And that's what I found. That's what I love about YouTube is that it's not really the fancy edits. It's not really, so to speak, as everybody says, the equipment you have. It's more about the storytelling and how well you can tell a story. And those guys I really love watching. It's entertaining to watch those guys and the story that they create just from an hour of rolling the camera. It's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I think as a creator, you slowly start to realize that the whole point of YouTube is actually the storytelling and how good you are at that, not the editing or the camera equipment, as you say.
People come to watch the person, not so to speak, the video. And if you can make yourself personable and entertaining, people are going to come back and watch it.
Exactly. And the equipment right now that you have, you use Canon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
It's a Canon R6 that I'm rolling on right now, with 16 to 35. Hold on, it's actually overexposed.
How do you plan your videos? Do you shoot the vlog and then after think about the intro and adding the sequence, or do you actually plan out what you're gonna say before you go on and explore? Because I sometimes I have a trouble with that. I'm like, oh man, I did a whole vlog, but there's no storyline. It's not smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So typically, I mean, most of the time, 90% of the time, I actually already know what I'm filming. So I already have the title in mind. I already know what I'm going to be filming, I already know what I'm going to be talking about pretty much. So if I know what the title of the video is, it's super easy for me to film a video because I already know what shots I need, I know what clips I need, I know what I need to talk about and what to mention. But that other 10% of the time when we're traveling, if we're going to somewhere brand new I've never been to before, and I just haven't had time to do the research, it'll just be really spontaneous, and I'll just film basically like my first impressions, what I feel, what I see, and just give my own insight as a first timer, so that people as they visit for their very first time, they can get the same feeling and have an understanding better than I did.
Oh, in your YouTube channel, what do you think was the pivotal point in your YouTube career? Because at one point you just boom.
Me coming to Indonesia was the pivotal point, I think. But funny thing is that I've been here before. This was probably my third time here now, because I came back here in November of 2020 when basically no foreigners were able to come here. And yeah, because I was one of the very few YouTubers here, I guess YouTube kind of drew to me specifically because I was making the most recent content. So I think that was partially some of it. But I had been on the road traveling full time for about 3 months at the time. And I was just doing, trial and error basically to see what fit my channel, what did I like filming, what I didn't like filming, and obviously what did my audience like to watch. And after coming to Indonesia, I kind of got a sense of what I should steer towards more with video content. And as soon as I went to Jakarta, the channel kind of blew up from there because not many foreigners actually film tourism content on Jakarta.
Interesting. Who's your demographic? Majorly, where are they from? Is it people that live in Indonesia, or is it everywhere in the world?
Yeah, because of because I recently just came into Indonesia, and most of my subscribers, most of my viewers are actually Indonesian. But of course, because I do have a background from the United States, I've lived there for a long time. I do have family and friends out there. So only about like 3% of my audience is actually Americans, surprisingly, and pretty much the rest is like Indonesians watching.
Wow. Because I saw a video that you made regarding the income that you make on YouTube, and your CPM is very good.
I don't know why that is, but like 80 to 85% of my viewers are actually Indonesians, and you would think that Indonesia has a pretty low CPM, but it's roughly about $1, and a half, which is not really Indonesia. Indonesia's way below $1 for CPM. But I think it's just the Americans, the Singaporeans, Australians looking to come to Bali maybe, that are driving that up just a bit.
Right. Do you have any concerns of maybe if you move to another country that your audience might not continue watching your videos?
Yeah, that's always a concern, but I think that's always something that YouTubers are going to think about whenever they're traveling full time. But again, if you're telling a great story, if people are following for you, not for the videos or the countries you're visiting, then they're going to continue to watch no matter what country, no matter what kind of content you're putting out. As long as it's personable, then they're going to continue to follow. And hopefully, eventually down the road, if I decide to, leave Indonesia for an extended trip, then I hope that some of my audience still continues to follow until I come back.
Another thing I saw that you're doing now sponsorships, like your last video at the island. That's amazing, dude. Congrats, dude. Especially with the Marriott, it's a huge company. How did that come about? Did you reach out to them? Are they reaching out to you now?
Most of the time now, I actually don't reach out to them. Most of the ones that do end up on my YouTube channel or end up on my Instagram are brands that are actually reaching out to me. Just because I find that the brands that are interested in working with you, they're going to come to you. And those are the kinds of partnerships that you want, because they've obviously already seen the kind of content you're creating, and they know the type of content you're going to deliver to them. But then if you're searching for other companies and brands that may have not heard from you, you kind of have to do a little bit of convincing to them. to show what you're going to provide them.
Yeah. And did you do that in the past? Did you try to reach out to companies when?
Yeah, when I was traveling through Mexico, traveling through Turkey, yeah, those were like always ways that I would try to promote my channel and promote other companies as well. And one of my very first partnerships was actually in Turkey with a food tour company out there, and it was absolutely an amazing time. And I love the video that came out of it. Unfortunately, it didn't perform as well as I thought it would, but at the time, my channel was still pretty small, way under 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully, by the time I end up coming back to Turkey, it'll be a different story.
Of course. Oh, that's amazing. Under 1,000 subscribers, and you managed to get someone. Did they give you just the tour for free in exchange to be in the video?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all I was looking for at the time, just to build my portfolio. And that's kind of the first thing you have to do as a small creator starting out. But as soon as you build that portfolio, other companies are going to see the style of work you provide to other brands and companies, so they'll follow us soon after.
Right, right. Great, brother. When it comes to editing, do you edit your videos yourself, or have you started outsourcing anything?
Yeah, I started looking for somebody at the time, since I've been in Indonesia, but I'm finding that it's just more work because you're having to communicate more back and forth. You have to upload content to them constantly, and there's obviously going to be revisions to make the videos more like yourself and more like your channel. So I felt like it was just more work than I needed at the time. So I'm just completely focusing on doing it myself because I've gotten it to the point now where I can edit an entire video in like 6 hours and have it ready for upload.
That's amazing, bro. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that was another question. How long it takes you to edit? 6 hours. What do you edit on? Do you edit on Premiere or
It's
Final?
Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut
Yeah,
Pro.
I edit on Mac. So back when I first started publishing YouTube vlogs in Vietnam, it would take me like a week just to make one video because I had that client mindset where it needed to be perfect. Everything needed to be perfect, and if it wasn't, I would just throw the video out. I would be like, I don't want to film this. I don't want to put this out. And I kind of had to change my mindset from as a YouTuber, as a vlogger, to know that everything's not going to be perfect. You're going to be traveling on the road, and you're not going to get that perfect shot every single time. And people are there to see you, not to see that perfect shot that you're trying to achieve. So I kind of had to switch my mindset a little bit. And after I did that, man, the vlogs just kept pushing out. And now I'm at a point where I'm doing 2 vlogs a week.
Wow, dude, that's so good, man. I'm struggling with that. I know exactly what you mean because same thing. I used to make videos for clients, and if I make good videos for clients, I want mine to be either just as good or better. And I'm very critical about that, and that's beautiful to hear, man. That's beautiful to hear, and I agree with you. The more you pump out, the better, and then you start seeing other creators that are doing really well, and their videos are an hour long with no edits, and then you're like, okay, maybe at the end of the day, it's not the edit.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's, you gotta keep it consistent. If you see viewers coming to your channel and they see like, oh, your last video was a month ago, 2 months ago, they're like, well, why should I follow them? If they're not uploading regularly, then what's the point of following? And I feel like you gotta be really consistent with uploading and creating a great story at the same time.
Do you think the YouTube thumbnail and the title is as important or more important than the video?
I think it's more important almost than the story itself because that's the very first thing a viewer sees. And that's gonna really make or break it sometimes because it's the very first thing people see on YouTube. When you open up YouTube's homepage, the very first thing you see is the thumbnail and the title right underneath of it. And if you can't convince them to say yes to your video, there's no point to the story that you just told. They're not going to click on it. But there's times that I'm scrolling through YouTube's rabbit hole and I click on the most random thumbnail, like just a regular screen grab from the video, and it's just the most enticing thing ever, and I'm just like, why did I just click on that? There was nothing professional about it. Nobody took the time to put into like an amazing thumbnail for it, but I decided to click on it. So it's like half the time I don't know if it is important or if it isn't, but I spend the extra 30 minutes to, make a convincing thumbnail. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, It's just depends on the viewers, I guess.
No, no. And I like your thumbnails. I look at your page and I feel like it's very organized, especially the way that you put the flags on the right hand side. I'm like, that is so clever, because you're gonna be traveling around, and if people just want to know on which country they're at, that they're watching, it just makes it a lot easier. And I'm actually I do put my flags, but not in all the videos, but putting it in a specific place in the same location always, I find it to be very easy to read.
I started doing that when I was in the States right during COVID, because the very first video I remember putting that on was traveling in the US during COVID, because I took the very first flight around maybe June of 2020 when literally nobody was flying. And I was like, all right, let's try to convince some of my Indonesian viewers from back when I was in Bali to try to watch this video. And I stamped a big America flag in the corner. And it didn't do as well, but I was just like, you know what, this is a pretty good idea if I'm going to be traveling around, full time in Mexico, in Turkey, and back in Indonesia. Just stamp a big flag in the corner, and that way people are going to always know where I'm at. And from there on, I just kept doing it, and then I actually went back to my old videos and edited the thumbnails to put the flag on there as well.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because you have it from the beginning.
Yeah, I went back to redo some of them. Some of them I couldn't re-edit, but for the most part, I tried to do as many as I could with the flag now.
And so far, which has been your favorite country that you've traveled to?
Mexico was great. I loved it because it was the very first country that I really, that was the first country that I visited as a full-time, travel vlogger. Right. But the videos really didn't perform as well. At the time, I didn't have that many subscribers, and I was only there to just tell a story. Turkey, I didn't really spend too much time. I only spent maybe 3 days, 4 days. But Indonesia, I just seem to find a way to come back to. I don't know what it is about Asia or Indonesia, or just, I don't know, Southeast Asia in general. I just love coming back to Asia just because of the culture, the food, the experiences. You never really know what you're going to get. And yeah, so far it's been Indonesia, because I've spent literally almost maybe 2 years, I think maybe even more, traveling throughout here. And right. It shows with all the video content that I have on my channel now.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. And also, I feel like it's safer. It's especially in Vietnam, I feel safe here compared to if I was in Mexico or anywhere in Central South America.
I mean, Vietnam, I think, has done probably the best out of anyone. Top three, New Zealand, Vietnam, they've really held their stuff together when they came to the pandemic.
What visa do you have in Indonesia right now?
I have a KITAS, so I have a temporary residency here.
Oh, great.
So I can freely leave and come back into the country, which is something I really wanted. Because, with the COVID situation, you never know what's going to happen with tourist visas and all. So it was nice to have that, where I have a place to always come back to, where it's, if I don't want to go back to the United States. But yeah, for foreseeable future, it really just depends on which countries are going to be opening up for travelers. And, I just got my first dose of the vaccine, so hopefully that will allow me to also visit other countries that are going to be accepting fully vaccinated travelers. And hopefully down the road, as countries begin to open up, I'll get to travel a little bit more and visit maybe even more Asian countries around here.
Okay. Do you have any in mind that you really, really want to get to?
Probably Thailand, since Thailand is already opening up now. They've already opened up Phuket. So, but then again, Bangkok is getting a spike in cases as well. Yeah. So who knows if I'll end up going there? But yeah,
like, let's say there was no COVID.
If there was no COVID, dude, Thailand and going back to Vietnam, I think, because really? I did. The funny thing is, I spent a year in Vietnam, and at the time I was mainly working. I had an English teaching job there, and when I first moved out to Vietnam, I had this idea. I was gonna teach maybe just a few hours a week, and the rest of the time I would be using that money to travel. Right. And that never happened. I was literally working, saving up all my money, and maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, I would be traveling to some nearby city in Vietnam. I didn't see as much of the country as I wanted to.
Right.
And now that I don't have to worry about, a 9 to 5 job, so to speak, I can freely do that and really visit and explore the countryside as much as I wanted to. Because, as an English teacher, I couldn't really, I always had that job I had to come back to.
Yeah.
And even if I was working online as an English teacher, I always had to be connected to the internet. Now I don't. I can travel to an unexplored island somewhere in the middle of the ocean, not worry about internet, and just film that.
That's beautiful, man. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Did you expect to grow this quickly, or to be in this position as fast as you did it?
Not at all. Not at all. Honestly, when I set out in October 1st of 2020, I had probably like 400, maybe 500 subscribers.
Wow.
And yeah, I was just like, I literally saved my money while I was in the States during the pandemic. I literally saved every single dollar I had, and I set aside to where I could budget $1,000 a month for an entire year. And I said to myself, if by the end of 1 year I don't make it, I'm not making enough money to support myself on YouTube, after 1 year I would come back home to the States.
Wow.
And luckily enough, after 4 months, I was like, all right, I can do this.
Oh my God, bro! Congratulations, man. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thanks, man. It's incredible.
Is there any tips you can give to anyone that wants to be a creator like yourself?
You got to be consistent. I think that was the biggest thing, and that was really the main thing that really pushed me. Is the views didn't matter at the time, If you go back to some of my Mexico videos, some of them haven't even passed 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Like my views on those videos were maybe like 100, 200 views. And at a point, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a creator, and you see those statistics, you're just like, man, I wish I could have done better, something better to make it even better. And it was so hard not to look at the statistics, and it kind of demoralizes you almost to a point. And you're like, well, should I keep going? Should I do something different? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you know what? I have to put out 2 videos a week for an entire year. And if it really doesn't pan out to anything, then at least I can say I tried. Right. But you really have to stay consistent. You got to keep pushing yourself. And no matter what the views are, no matter what the statistics are, just keep pushing out those videos consistently, because eventually down the road, people are going to look back at your channel and they're going to see, wow, this guy has been publishing for the last year consistently 2 videos a week. And you can see that on your channel, and they can be like, all right, well, at least I have something to look forward to every single week. And I think that's partially one of the reasons that I just kept pushing myself, and eventually I found the success that I wanted.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Did you ever think about doing videos in your language?
Like Russian?
Yeah.
The funny thing is that Russian is my native language,
Yeah.
but the problem is, when I went back to the States, I never used it.
Right.
And so I'm still fluent in it. I will still speak to my family, but only if I need to, really.
Yeah.
like there's a lot of Russians, there's a lot of Europeans here in Bali even that speak Russian as their native language. But if I don't have to speak Russian, I won't, just because to me it's difficult. I have to, the way my mind works right now is that I have to translate everything from English to Russian, not the other way around. So I have to actually think about the words in the sentence that I put together. But if somebody's speaking to me in Russian, then I completely understand everything they're saying. It takes a little bit more time for me to speak back to them, because I have to translate everything from English to Russian. And I feel like I wouldn't be able to succeed as a channel if I did that.
Right.
But eventually, when I do end up traveling to Ukraine, to see my family, I will put those Russian skills to the test to see how well I can perform out daily vlogging out there.
Oh wow, that's great, dude. That would be cool, actually. You vlogging over there, because then you can speak to the locals in Russian, and then it would be more interesting and more captivating. I would say.
Yeah, because coming to Asia, there's always a language barrier, because you don't speak the native language, but it'll be a different experience for me coming to a country where there is no language barrier for me,
Right. Yeah.
So it'll be nice.
Damn, cool, man. Any tips or any apps that you use to organize your files, or that you use to create your videos?
Mostly it's notes on my iPhone. Anytime I think of a catchy title, if I think of a really interesting topic, I'll write it down. And I even have a notepad that's just full of even generic titles to where I can just visit any country, any city in the world, and I have a title ready to go, and I just have to fit in like the city and the country that I'm in. So yeah, anytime like I'm visiting a city or country, I can just fit in the city and country into the title and be like top 10 things to try in Cancun, Mexico or something like that. So I always have those ready to go just in case my mind draws blank and isn't creative for the week.
And also I see in your videos, and I really love the way you do it, the way you implement drone shots, just to visually tell the people the location, or just to, I don't know, it really flows whenever you're doing your videos. Have you had any issues flying your drone, or even just transporting your drone from a country to another country? Because you have the Mavic Air 2, right? The Mavic 2, the Mavic.
Yes, the Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah.
It's the bigger Mavic.
Yeah.
I've been traveling with that drone since Vietnam days. And so far I haven't had any issues flying, but I'm a very, I guess, safe and cautious person when it comes to flying, because in the United States you actually do have to get licensed if you want to fly your drone professionally for money, if you're making money with it. So I did have to learn quite a bit of like avionics and just stuff you really wouldn't think you would need for flying a drone. So yeah, I always have this like thought in the back of my head, oh, what if this happens? You know, what if I crash the drone into a building or somebody even? So I'm a really cautious flyer when it comes to that. So if I see a huge crowd of people around me, if I'm in downtown city, I'm not flying that thing at all. I'm always looking for like either a high-rise building I can launch it from the rooftop, or just like an empty park where there's nobody around. And so far I haven't had any issues. But you know, I typically don't want to take those risks if I don't have to.
Okay, cool. And now in Indonesia, you're currently in Bali. Will you be in Bali for a
Yeah,
while?
depending on what's going on with the restrictions right now, there's a lot of restrictions because they're trying to get the entire country vaccinated. So right now they're doing a really good job with vaccinating a huge portion of the population. But on the unfortunate side is that nobody can travel, nobody can really go anywhere or do anything. So we're thinking of maybe leaving for like a couple of weeks until everything has, the situation's gotten better here. And the entirety of the population's gotten vaccinated here, so that we can come back here and everything be opened up again. So we're kind of just waiting to see for the next week or so what's going to happen here, because I think this is the most restrictive it's been since March of 2020 when everything began. I think it's even more stricter now than it was back then.
Wow. Yeah, here in Vietnam as well, man. We're on lockdown in Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro, it's bad. Like, nobody can leave the house. There's not even Grab. I don't even remember Grab, but there's no takeaway food. You have to only cook at home, so it's very strict. It's going to be for the next 2 weeks. And then
how do you get like groceries and stuff?
You can go to the convenience store and the supermarket, but only one person can go inside the convenience store.
Okay.
And then you have to wait in line, and you have to like social distance. So it's it's very.
But I think that Vietnam has been really good with implementing the measures and everything. So I mean, there's a reason they're doing all that.
Oh yeah.
Because you know,
no.
they've been at the top when it comes to keeping people with COVID out, I guess, or keeping COVID out of the country.
No.
What's going on? What's going on with the whole? Because I was reading. I follow. You probably know him, Phuc
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he did a video about like how a lot of the foreigners are kind of getting pushed out of the country.
Yeah, man, they were kicking out foreigners.
Visas.
Yeah, they were kicking out foreigners because some foreigners, they came on some like business, like work permit visa, where they're getting sponsored by a company, but that company doesn't really exist, and it was fine, it was good, but then the government started cracking down on that, and thousands of foreigners were on this permit, so they had to automatically leave. And then also they stop extending tourist visas. So basically, you can extend your tourist visa monthly, but what you would do is when you would go extend for the month, they will give you your passport back with the extension for the month, but it would have, I think it was EC, something like that. It had these two letters, which meant it's an exit visa. So you have only 30 days to leave the country, and you can't extend your visa anymore. So a lot of foreigners were really getting kicked out. And they're easing down on it now. Like, you can extend your tourist visa now, but man, the law changes every other day, and nobody really know what's going on. And there's so many agents saying different things. So I'm not really sure.
That's how it is in Indonesia as well. Sometimes people say different stuff, and you never really know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I feel like that's what just Asian countries in general.
Yeah, I try not to get too involved in that. Look, if I have to leave, I have to leave. I'm grateful that they let me stay here for the amount of time that I've been here. I've been here for over a year now on a tourist visa. So like, if I have to go, that's fine, man. I'll maybe go to Bali or maybe go to Mexico. I'm not sure. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, take advantage of being there. It's a beautiful place, and right now there's not many people that can visit there.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And create content here. I think, like you said, if there's no one can come in, no one can create content, and you're the only one, then the
take advantage of it.
Exactly, bro.
Exactly.
One last question, brother. Any advice that you might give to someone that, let's say there was no coronavirus, and really wants to go and travel, but has a worry or it's not ready yet? How did you feel before you started traveling? Did you have any hesitation or worry in your mind before you took off?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's I mean, that's just natural, I think, because when I first started traveling solo, I went only for, I think, like 2 weeks. I went first to Latvia by myself for like a couple of days, and then I went straight into Bali to travel Bali for my very first experience as a solo traveler. And I think like the biggest worry was just, meeting people, because you're traveling by yourself. Because obviously, back home you have your own friends and stuff. And what I wanted to do with myself when traveling solo was just push myself out of my comfort zone. Because if you would have met me years ago, I was, I always held everything myself. I wasn't going out to go out of my way to talk to people, basically, is what I'm saying. And I think picking up a camera and putting myself out of that comfort zone where I'm like, hey, I'm vlogging out in public and people are staring at me is like the most uncomfortable thing ever. And I think that was a great baby step to push myself out there for like a week or two, traveling by myself, trying to meet new people. I think that was a great step. And then a year later, when I decided to move to Vietnam, I literally threw myself out in the deep end. You'll be surprised what'll happen when you push yourself out there and you have no backup plan. Because I literally sold all my possessions back home. I saved every dollar I had so that I could move to Vietnam in, I think it was like 2019, for an entire year to teach English. And so I had forced myself basically into a country where English isn't the main language. I had to meet new people, and I somehow succeeded at it. But I think the main thing is you have to find something that you're passionate about, whether it's, a sport, whether it's like tennis, soccer. If you're into teaching English, so for example, like I wanted to teach English in Vietnam, and the way that I met people and found friends was through the program, to get my teaching certificate. And those people are still my friends. I'm still traveling around with them. And you have to find a niche, something that you're interested to, and bring it over to the country that you're traveling to. And that's how I met people originally. Right. But if it's friends, that's how you do it. If your biggest worry is money, then save money for a year to see how long you can make it last. But I think those are usually the two biggest fear factors when traveling abroad, is money and being alone. Other than that, dude, you're gonna have an amazing time. If you just push those things away and you meet people naturally.
That's amazing, bro. Awesome. Well, bro, I think that's it, man. I think we only have a few more minutes, but I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, bro. I'll make sure to put all your links down in the description, man.
Thanks, man.
I really appreciate what you do, bro. Thank you so much. Like, you're really inspiring, and it's beautiful to hear you speak and see where you came from so quickly. That motivates me, and I'm sure will motivate a lot of people to continue following your passion, like you say.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, bro.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and send me the link so that I can check it out
Oh,
afterwards.
thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, I'll send that over for you. Well, I hope to maybe meet you someday, man. And
Yeah.
continue creating, bro. Continue creating.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot, man.
All right,
Appreciate it.
talk
Hopefully
soon,
we
bro.
get to meet.
See you, man.
Yep.
Wow, Aelx is such a chill and nice dude. As you guys can see, anything is possible, and Aelx is an example of that. Moving forward, I think I'm going to try to interview more creators and more people like Aelx, because this podcast is not only for you guys, but for me. I love talking and learning from people like Aelx, someone that I look up to and admire and hope to be like in the future. So if you have any content creators or any YouTubers or anyone that creates content on the internet that you want me to interview, please comment their name down below. I'll reach out to them and see if it's possible. And if you haven't done so already, please follow me on my main channel where I make videos about my life here in Vietnam. I show you the cost of living, the lifestyle, the food, the party, and everything you need to know if you want to travel to Vietnam. Thanks everyone for viewing, liking, or subscribing. And don't forget, traveling is not difficult. It shouldn't be as hard. And you only live once. So just make sure that you stop wasting time, start taking action, don't doubt, don't hesitate, and make it happen. Until next time, Christian Rodriguez, bye.